Hey friends, Pastor Bill Walden here with Build Up the Church. This is a devotional word for March the 9th, 2024. In Mark chapter 13, Jesus is living the last week of his life here upon the earth. He has been telling his disciples some very difficult things about his soon-to-be suffering and his death at the hands of the Romans. His disciples are having a big struggle accepting that. So in Mark chapter 13, as they're passing by the temple there in Jerusalem, the disciples make mention of it. Isn't this a fantastic building? Look how glorious it is. And then as they went across the Kidron Valley up to the Mount of Olives, they could look back across the valley there and see the temple. And Jesus said, let me tell you something about this temple. There's not going to be one stone left upon another. And Herod had been the Roman ruler in that time. He wanted to gain favor with the Jews, and so he was embellishing and building and adding to the temple. It was a glorious building. It even had gold on some of the walls and marble, and it was just a brilliant, amazing, huge building. And Jesus said, you know, you're having trouble with the truth about my soon coming death. Let me tell you some other things that are coming. This temple is going to be torn down. Not one stone is going to be left upon another. And history tells us that when Rome attacked Israel in 70 AD, one of the soldiers set fire to the temple, and it melted all the gold. And the gold ran down between the cracks in the stones, and they dismantled the entire temple to get the gold. So Jesus told them about a prophetic thing that was going to happen. It happened in the near future for them. 40 years after Jesus announced it. But Jesus went on to talk about future things that have yet to happen. Now, before I go on, let me just say this about myself. I'm a biblicist. I believe that the Bible is true. Sometimes I take it literally. Sometimes it's read metaphorically, allegorically, with parables. But I believe that the Bible is truth. And we can believe anything that we want, and we should believe in something. I remember some years ago there was a guy that had a kind of a cartoon t-shirt on, and it said, you have to believe in something. I believe I'll have another beer. And I always thought that was humorous, but it was also insightful because you do have to believe in something. And some people believe in different holy books, Book of Mormon, the Quran, or you might believe in the latest philosophers or any number of things, and a lot of us just believe what makes sense in our own head. Regarding the future, let me go backwards regarding the future. I grew up in the 60s and 70s. I was a huge Beatle fan, and I remember exactly where I was when John Lennon, after he left the Beatles, had written a song called Imagine, and this is how it goes. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will be as one. And it was a huge hit, huge success for John Lennon because it expresses a sentiment that we all want. We all want peace, and because of that, we believe that perhaps mankind can usher in peace. Even the church, the Christian church, some portions of the Christian church believe that peace isn't going to come until God's church is as holy as it can be and is as loving as it can be, and until the church improves itself, that peace can't come, and then the improved church is going to usher in the time of peace for the world. But Jesus said something very different, and again, you can believe whatever you want, but I believe the Bible, so let me just share with you what the Bible says. Jesus said this. He said, and he says a lot of things in Mark chapter 13, and so I'm just going to kind of read to you a little bit of what he said here. He said this, many will come in my name saying I am he, and they'll deceive many, so false messiahs. When you hear of wars and rumors of wars, don't be troubled. Such things must happen, but the end is not yet. So, currently in 2024 here, there's Russia and Ukraine are at war. Recently, Hamas invaded Israel on October the 7th, 2023. And so there's currently wars there, and there's wars all over the world still. Small skirmishes, larger wars, tribes against tribes, all of that's going on still. Jesus said that's just going to continue. It's going to continue till the end. Nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There'll be earthquakes in various places and famines and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrows. So Jesus said, listen, people are going to keep fighting till I come back. And like you, I'm sure, most of us want to see peace in the world, but peace isn't going to come through the efforts of man. I'm not saying we shouldn't try to promote peace. I'm not saying that at all. The United Nations and, all of these governmental organizations, they try to do that. But Jesus said the kind of peace we're looking for doesn't happen until he, the Prince of Peace, brings it. Not putting down the efforts of man, but I think we may give ourselves more credit than we deserve. Jesus said all these things are going to keep happening until the end. And to my Christian brothers and sisters, beware of churches that tell us that the church is going to usher in peace on earth. That's not what the Bible says. If you're a follower of Jesus, it's much better to believe what Jesus says than perhaps a well-intentioned church leader. Be a biblicist. If you're a follower of Jesus, be a biblicist. Read what he says, and as uncomfortable and as depressing as it might be, believe it. And when Jesus told the disciples back in 33-ish AD, not one stone is going to be left upon another of the temple, it was beyond their capacity to believe, but less than 40 years later it happened. When Jesus said there's going to be fighting till the end, it's almost beyond our capacity to believe, but we need to believe that that's how it's going to be. So if you are looking for peace in the world, good for you. So am I. Look for peace from the Prince of Peace, Jesus Christ. He's going to bring peace upon the earth. So some thoughts for you. Thanks for watching. God bless you.